Everything began long before Xiao Phong was born, on a storm-filled night when his grandfather was still a man in his prime. At that time, he never imagined that a single dream could alter the fate of his entire bloodline. That night, thunder split the heavens. In his dream, the sky was torn open, black clouds rolling like an inverted sea. Lightning crashed endlessly, illuminating a colossal golden dragon suspended in the air. Yet this was no majestic divine beast from legend. Its scales were cracked and scorched, its body riddled with burns from heavenly lightning. Golden blood dripped from its wounds, falling like molten rain upon the earth. The dragon lowered its massive head, its eyes filled not with arrogance, but exhaustion. With a voice that echoed as though it came from the depths of the underworld, the golden dragon spoke. It had failed its heavenly tribulation. Its cultivation was incomplete, its body unrefined. When the thunder of heaven descended, it was not yet ready. Now stripped of its former glory, it stood on the brink of annihilation. If it remained exposed beneath the sky, the laws of heaven would soon erase it completely, soul, spirit, and essence alike. Yet it had discovered a sliver of hope. Beneath the ancient well in the Chen family courtyard lay a rare convergence of earth energy, yin and yang perfectly balanced, dragon veins hidden from celestial scrutiny. If allowed to descend into that well, the golden dragon could conceal itself from heaven's gaze, nurture its broken body, and cling to life. In exchange, it offered repayment. "Name one wish," the dragon said. "Wealth, power, prosperity, across generations. Whatever you desire, I shall return this debt." The grandfather stood in silence for a long time. He had seen too much in his life. He knew that great fortune often walked hand in hand with great disaster, and that wishes granted by beings beyond the mortal realm always carried a price. At last he bowed his head and spoke a single sentence, simple, almost humble. "I do not seek riches or glory. I ask only that my descendants live in peace, safe and ordinary." The golden dragon did not question his choice. It let out a low, solemn roar, heavy with ancient sorrow and gratitude. Then, in a flash of golden light, it plunged downward, vanishing into the depths of the well. The water surged violently, spiraling as if swallowing the heavens themselves, before settling once more into unnatural stillness. What the grandfather did not understand was this: that wish for peace did not erase calamity, it rewrote it. To the laws of heaven, those burdened with immense destiny are never allowed to live ordinary lives. By accepting the dragon's gratitude, the Chen family had unknowingly unlocked a fate that defied the natural order. The golden dragon did not repay its debt by removing danger, but by planting a seed, one that would grow into a life capable of bearing both supreme blessing and supreme disaster. From that moment on, karma had taken root. The day Xiao Phong was born, the village itself seemed to fall out of step with the mortal world. For days, dark clouds had blanketed the sky. Yet at the very moment his first cry rang out, the heavens cleared. White clouds gathered in layered formations, glowing softly like celestial banners. Birds fell silent mid-flight. Livestock throughout the village knelt or lay motionless, their heads lowered toward the Chen household, as if paying reverence to something unseen. Standing in the courtyard, the grandfather felt a sudden tightening in his chest. He looked up, and his blood ran cold. High above the rooftops hovered a golden dragon with twin wings, its form indistinct, yet its presence overwhelming. It circled the house once, casting no shadow, then plunged straight into the earth, disappearing without sound. The old man's face turned pale. An ancient warning echoed in his mind. When the responding dragon enters the earth, blessing and calamity become indistinguishable. Before he could recover, cries erupted from inside the house. On the newborn's chest bloomed a crimson phoenix mark, vivid and alive, its lines sharp and radiant as fresh blood. Heat pulsed faintly from the symbol, as if something within it were breathing. Xiao Fong's father was overjoyed. To him, this was proof that his son had been born with rare fortune, a destiny of wealth and success. But the grandfather felt no such relief. He stood silently beside the cradle, staring at the mark, with a gaze filled with dread and sorrow. He understood what the others did not. A phoenix fate did not mean easy blessings. It meant the heavens had set their eyes upon this child. Whether it would bring glory or destruction had yet to be determined. Yet one truth was already clear. Xiao Fong would never live the peaceful, ordinary life his grandfather had once wished for. From the moment the golden dragon descended into the earth, from the instant the phoenix mark appeared, the boy's destiny had been torn from the path of ordinary mortals. And this was only the beginning. Xiao Fong's childhood unfolded beneath a sky that appeared calm, almost merciful. Years passed without incident. No sickness plagued him, no accidents stalked his steps. While other children scraped their knees, fell ill with seasonal fevers, or narrowly escaped disaster, Xiao Fong grew steadily, quietly, too quietly for a child marked by a phoenix fate. The villagers called it good fortune. His grandfather knew better. Long before Xiao Fong learned to walk, a silent guardian had already taken its place. Beside the Chen household, a nameless stone stele that stood at the edge of the courtyard, weathered and smooth, its surface devoid of inscription. It had appeared decades earlier, on the night a great flood swept through the region. The same year Xiao Fong's father was born. When the waters receded, the stone was simply there. No one knew where it came from. No one could move it. To the villagers, it was a sign of luck. To the grandfather, it was something far more ominous. A fate anchor, placed to suppress and redirect destiny itself. Every morning before sunrise, the old man lit incense before the stone. At dusk, he poured a cup of clear liquor at its base. He never explained his actions, never allowed anyone to disturb it. The rituals were not prayers, but payments, small offerings to maintain a fragile balance. The Chen family did not prosper as people expected. There was no sudden wealth, no rise in status. Life remained modest, almost plain. Yet Xiao Fong thrived. He slept soundly, laughed easily, and never once stood at death's door. What no one saw was the cost. Each peaceful day was purchased by the stone stele, quietly bearing a portion of Xiao Fong's fate, absorbing stray calamities, diverting misfortune, dulling the sharp edge of destiny that should have cut far deeper. The grandfather could feel it. The stone grew colder each year. As Xiao Fong grew older, strange patterns began to emerge. Animals avoided him, not out of fear, but reverence. Dogs lowered their heads when he passed. Birds fell silent when he lingered too long beneath a tree. Even insects seemed hesitant to cross his shadow. At night, Xiao Fong sometimes dreamed of water, deep, endless water, where golden light pulsed far below the surface. He would wake with his chest warm, the phoenix mark faintly glowing, before fading once more into his skin. When he asked his grandfather about it, the old man would only say, "Dreams are nothing but echoes." But there were nights when the grandfather stayed awake until dawn, watching the stars as if waiting for something to fall. Despite these oddities, Xiao Fong's life remained uneventful. He went to school, he helped in the fields, he laughed with other children beneath the sun. The world treated him gently, as though unaware of the storm forming beneath his feet. Yet this gentleness was unnatural. Those sensitive to the unseen sometimes felt it when passing by the Chen household. A pressure in the air, subtle but unmistakable, like standing too close to a drawn bowstring. Something was being held back, something patient. Beneath the surface of everyday life, three forces worked in silent tension. Deep beneath the courtyard well, the golden dragon slept, its broken body slowly mending as it consumed the hidden dragon vein. Each breath it took concealed Xiao Fong's presence from the eyes of heaven, but each breath also tied the boy's destiny more tightly to its own unfinished tribulation. Within Xiao Fong himself, the phoenix fate lay dormant, compressed and restrained, waiting for the moment it could no longer be suppressed. It granted vitality and resilience, but demanded balance, a balance that had not yet been paid. And standing between them was the nameless stone stele, absorbing the overflow of karmic backlash, silently cracking beneath the weight of borrowed time. The three formed a triangle of karmic equilibrium. As long as all three remained intact, Xiao Fong could live as an ordinary child. But equilibrium is not permanence, it is delay. The first signs of imbalance appeared when Xiao Fong turned 13. The stone stele developed hairline fractures along its base, so fine they were invisible to anyone but the grandfather. Incense burned faster. Offerings no longer felt sufficient. At times, the old man would cough blood after completing his nightly rituals, wiping it away before anyone could notice. That same year, the village experienced a series of minor misfortunes. Chickens died without cause. Wells dried unexpectedly. A child from another family nearly drowned in the river before being pulled out at the last moment. None of these calamities touched Xiao Fong directly, but they orbited him, like warnings. The grandfather understood what they meant. The cost of delay was increasing. The night before Xiao Fong's 14th birthday, the grandfather stood alone before the stone stele longer than usual. He placed his hand upon its cold surface and closed his eyes. "Not much longer," he murmured. The stone did not respond, but somewhere deep underground, something shifted. The illusion of peace had reached its limit. Xiao Fong slept soundly that night, unaware that his childhood, every carefree laugh, every quiet morning, had been nothing more than a loan taken from the future. A loan that was about to come due.